Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I think Europe could congratulate itself for having nuclear weapons closer to their borders, to its borders, which is in Belarus. As I said on many occasions, the Russians, good or bad, they're consistent in what they say and what they do. So as I said many times, if they tell you they're going to give you $1, they're going to give you $1. If they tell you that they're going to punch you in the nose, they will punch you in the nose. So good or bad, they are consistent. They said, we are going to do what the Americans are doing, which is going to just place some of our nuclear weapons in a foreign country, which is Belarus, like United States deployed in Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, and so on. 5 countries, Turkey, 5 countries in Europe have US nuclear weapons on 6 sites. So here you have it. Hey, baby, don't stay there. It's too fast. Anyway, so slow down. So now what they do, they said they will place it. And the process has started. The Belarusians are saying we are preparing the sites. Now, this article comes from Ukrainska Pravda from today, the 14th of April 2023. Belarus says it is already preparing sites for Russian nuclear weapons. Now, if I say, hey, I'm going to prepare your bed, that means I'm in the process of making your bed, or I'm going to prepare the food. I'm in the process of cooking, making the food. So preparing means the activity started. That means we are on our way. Viktor Krenin, Minister of Defense of Belarus, has said that Belarus is already preparing sites for the deployment of Russia's strategic nuclear weapons. Congratulations, Europe, you shot yourself higher than your feet. You shot yourself in between your legs now. Belarusian state-owned news outlet Belta, quoting Krenin's statement. Quote from Krenin, and I'm quoting, "If necessary, we will have strategic nuclear weapons, and we are already preparing our existing sites. And if the hostile rhetoric continues, this will be the next step. We will respond to force only with force. The West does not understand otherwise." End quote. He had added that only the Russian side will be able to use the tactical nuclear weapons and will be deployed in Belarus. Well, don't be so critical, my friends, because in Romania only the supposedly NATO missile defense could be operated only by the Americans on the territory of Romania. So hold your horses. And the same thing is true wherever the Americans have nuclear weapons in Europe. At the same time, Krenin has pointed out once again that Belarus, and I'm quoting, has prepared equipment and aircraft that can carry nuclear munitions. End quote. And Belarus has also received, and I'm quoting again, a modern Iskander missile system, which is also capable of using missiles with nuclear warheads. End quote. So back off. And the next week, according to the Belarusian defense minister, the preparation of the relevant Belarusian unit in Russia will be completed. Background. On March 31st, in his address to the nation, self-proclaimed president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, spoke about the possibility of deploying Russian strategic nuclear weapons on Belarusian territory. Now imagine that, you see, the self-proclaimed. All right, there's allegations that this guy stole an election in Belarus. I don't know, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know who investigated and whatever happened. According to them, obviously to Belarus, that didn't happen. To the official, But imagine that other country will use the same terminology referring to another country. How would those guys in the second country like that? You wouldn't like it at all. But anyway, they can say whatever they want. I'm just pointing out that this is self-proclaimed president of Lukashenko. If you're gonna have that woman from from outside Belarus take over, Belarus will be immediately a vassal state to the West instead of being to Russia, right? Is that how it goes? I guess. In early April, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said that Belarus already has attack aircraft and Iskander-M systems capable of delivering tactical nuclear strikes. If you are, and I hope you are, aware that Russia has a little enclave in Kaliningrad, that's over there a little bit by Poland, if you know what I mean, and by the Baltic Sea. They, I think, brought 3, what was that, Kinzhal missiles over there, and 3 or 4 with MiG-31, because MiG-31 delivers those Kinzhals that are capable of carrying nuclear warheads. So even if Belarus doesn't have the missiles, the Russians will have them in Kaliningrad. And remember, that's one rule that is applied in justice. You know, if it's something that I don't like, I don't expect you to like. You know what I mean? So don't do unto blah 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 that you don't want to be done unto you, blah blah blah. You know, remember that one, the golden rule or whatever it is. The same here. If you don't like the Russians deploying nuclear weapons in Belarus or in, let's say, Nicaragua, or let's say Cuba, then don't deploy them in Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Turkey, and blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, that doesn't sound to me like we are on the equal footing. You know what I mean? I mean, if you can do something, but I can't, that means I'm a little bit, you know, below you, like a little vassal state or entity, which I don't see why the Russians or anybody else would accept it, unless they're punched in the face if they don't agree with that situation, state of affairs. So anyway, the Belarusians will have those nuclear weapons if this war in Ukraine continues. Probably if, and the Russians will do this to negotiate. Take your shit out, otherwise we're gonna increase our presence in other states, and I'm expecting Nicaragua, and I'm expecting Cuba, but we'll see. Cuba played another role in if you remember 1963, where the other guy, Khrushchev, made United States take their Jupiter nuclear missiles. They were deployed in Turkey, and I think it was Italy. They were taken out of Turkey in 6 months. Why? He said, well, are you gonna take them out? And Kiev. Kennedy said, we're not going to talk to you. Who the hell are you? That's exactly what they did now with the Russians. No, we don't care about your security concerns, about Ukraine being armed or NATO coming closer to your borders. We don't care. We have nuclear weapons placed on Europe. So what are you going to do about it? Go over there and plow the field, Russian. And the Russians did something bad, right? And the same with those guys. Well, okay, we're going to do the same thing you did. We're going to bring some missiles to Cuba. And they place those missiles on top of the vessels. If you remember, the pictures just covered so you can see them. I mean, if you really want to be top secret, you don't do that shit. Or you're so dumb that you don't expect those guys to see them from the surveillance planes. Whatever. They saw it and said, oh, they're going to build over their sites. And they were. There were no nuclear weapons in Cuba. They were building the sites and bringing the tubes over there, but no warheads. But there were warheads, nuclear warheads in Turkey. Remember, again. And Russia says, well, Kennedy, are you going to talk now? What do you want? Well, take your, again, weapons from Turkey, and then we're going to stop our sites in building our sites in Cuba. Okay, here the story is told a little bit, picked and chosen, just bits is where they like it. The fact is that how I wanna call Khrushchev made this guy do what he wanted him to do. Take your Jupiters out. No, we won't. Yes, you will. And they did. So call it however you want. Bring more evidence to the whole thing and take the whole story if you want. Don't pick only a little bit here and say, oh, Kennedy had Khrushchev blinked because he threatened him with war. That's how they portrayed here. Hollywood style, 13-year-old level. Well, sorry for breaking the news a little bit, or maybe open a good book, and I'm pretty sure you did. And if you are very angry with me right now, that sounds good for you to do. If you are not angry with me, just go and check it out. You don't have to believe me. Don't shoot the messenger here. I mean, I know that's the general procedure right now, but anyway, let's be what we are, a certain kind of civilization. Let's go back to what we were, right? Anyway, they will have it. They will have nuclear weapons, and the Americans can cry a river. They will not give a damn because it's for real right now. And that's going to be another talk. And when they're going to start talking, if the Russians are not exterminated, or at least the leadership will not be, like that, by outside forces with the help of inside forces, that's the only way the West could win this little thing in Ukraine. So when they're going to start negotiating, I guarantee you the Russians will say, well, you want those things out of... No, they will demand... You see, they will say, you know what, you take your NATO infrastructure out of Europe. No NATO. And the Americans say, no, what? Okay, we're going to keep our missiles here and we're going to expand. That's going to be a little conversation. And the Russians already said at the beginning of this, whatever is in Ukraine right now, fighting the NATO should, give guarantees and should not threaten, should roll back their little expansion towards us. I think that's just a form of negotiation towards something else, because the Americans will never, ever agree to do what? Say, okay, we disintegrate NATO and we become more friends now and we make it democratically, not like NATO. NATO is US's organization with weasels that are used here and there, and they get some crumbs here and there when the leader, the master, allows them. That's what is NATO. I mean, you tell me when a NATO country wants something and the United States says yes. Everything is done only what the United States wants. The rest are yes. The United States directs, we're going to go there, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And everybody's, I guess, let's go. Or they show a lot of enthusiasm, otherwise they get slapped. So anyway, you'll see. This is what war brings, more war. And if you think this is an escalation, well, why don't you take your weapons first out? That was an escalation in the first place. But you ask for logic and equality and justice. Well, there you have it. If I can punch you in the face, then you have the same right to punch me in the face. Otherwise, by law, the law is not just. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.